Hello こんにちは。ローグ vs G22022 決勝戦初戦。G2e スポーツファナティックに1回敗れて敗者復活から3連勝、3シリーズ勝って3立てしまくったね。バイタリティ3立て、ミスフィッツ3立てで、昨日ファナティック3立て、今のところ9連勝中の G2、 そしてリーグ1位のローグ。やばいね、 G2 今ノリに乗ってるね。ヨーロッパのメタはな他と違うからね。アフェリオスが人気。あと G2 はな、昨日のシリーズ見たけど、ファナティックのシリーズ、ヤンコスとこのミッドのキャップスが相変わらずうまかったわ。ヤンコスギャンクうますぎる。6枚にギャンクめちゃくちゃ決めるからね。アーリー、いやー、昨日キャップスのアーリー輝いてたね。やっぱ来たこれ、アーリー J4 のこのファーストストライクタンク J4、 ギャンク決めてな。ヤンコスはやっぱりギャンクがうまくてタンク系が相性いい。J4 に対してこれスレッシュで救うしかないんじゃない？アフェリオスベタ足だからね。ランボー、お、ランブル、ルシアン、超強気ピック、ソロレンルシアン、ランブルインザジャングルかな。
Well, now they're putting pressure onto G2. Do you either lock in an answer to the Rumble now, or lose your AD carry as well?
Miss Fortune.
Get yourself an AD carry now and allow us to ban away some of the answers to Rumble.
かなりレーン強気でいくんだね。いや、ヨーロッパバチバチだから楽しいと思うよ。ローグがどういうプレースタイルか分かんないけど、ちょっと前まではローグって15分までは最強とか言われてたけどな。今年はどうだろう。G2 も序盤から戦ってうまいしね。すげえバチバチな面白いシリーズになると思います。
I like the poppy band that we're seeing. Cheers for the. I'm assuming that's for the Orn band.
Yeah, that was for the Orn band.
But the respect being shown to Malrang and his versatility in the jungle pool. Yesterday, we made criticisms towards what could Razork actually go for when you limit his options, but Malrang has never really showcased a limit to his pool. They're even respecting the fact that he hasn't shown the pool yet, but they know it could be a good pick.
昨日 G2 のトップのブローケンブレード、オーン2回ピックしてファッキンキャリーしてたね。オーンマジでうまかった。ルシアンはこれどこなのかな、わかんないな。
I was going to say this does mean that the Na is also up and available if they want to go for it.
Tryndamere. Wow.
So much confidence coming out of the G2 top laner. Does the Rumble, is the Rumble a flex to
これナーフ前だよね。ナーフ前のトリンドメア 12.5 パッチ。トリンドメア相手はマルファイトだけどね。レオナ。
May have also been worried about the MF Leona answer, and then you look at the team fighting from G2 and it's terrifying, right? So bit of a denial also gives them pretty reliable engage.
ランブルトップ、シンジャオジャングルか。ローグはどこが強いんだろう。ジャングルがうまいって聞いたな。あとトップもうまいよな、オドワンね。ランブルは確かアーマー上がってバフはされてたからな。あんま出てこないけど弱くはないはず。最後にラカン J4 ミスフォーチュンのコンボかな。ブリンクできるキャラがルシアンぐらいしかないね。フラッシュ持ってない時ミスフォーチュンと J4 のウルトコンボえげつねえだろうな。シンジャーのウルトでミスフォーチュンのウルトって消せるのかな。消せそう。 だから死んじゃうか。G2 はね、ミッドレーン強くてトップがマジでうまかった。ブローケンブレードマジでうまかったな。ボトムもうまいけどな。序盤の見どころは G2 やっぱミッドジャングルトップ。今回のマッチアップ。マーランのランブルはキャニオンよりうまいとか言われてたけど、あ、そうなんだ。でもこれ多分ランブルトップだよね。
variety of champions they can play. G2 kind of sticking to their style, but they were able to win a dominating 3-0 on yesterday. This is going to be very indicative of the series as to how things are going to evolve. I'm expecting this to be a close final.
トップミッドジャングルがリージョン最強と言われてますね。特にラーセンはマジでうまい。ハローグにしはローグ vs.G2 ファイナル。このシリーズ勝った方が MSI。タイマーが見え、OK。
Bot lane could work as well with the Rakan. Top lane, not too much setup, but I think Jankos might have to cover it. Malrang will play towards the top side, and Jankos has two options. One, path into it and cover it, or two, look for plays on the opposite side.
Okay, ローグ。
Match Malrang as expected. When you're a jungler, you can look around lanes. You can save
ローグは死んじゃおボトムか。死んじゃおボトムから始めて、J4 もボトムから始めてトップ。トリンドメア対ランブルのマッチアップ、どうだこれ。ランブルはメレー相手強いけど、トリンドメアが6位になったらだいぶされるとかじゃないのかな。ローグはミッドが強いみたいね、本当にラーセン。キャップスも調子上げてるからな。ルシアンレーンは強いですよ。
And already it feels tense, right? You know, the stakes are so high. G2 want to return back to the top of Europe. Rogue want to secure their first title. They have been top 3 consistently over the last
Level 2?
splits. It was last year that Rogue found themselves in a final and they fell short at the final hurdle. Yeah. Both of these teams are hungry to win. And this is a team of Rogue where they're always finishing first or second in the regular season itself. It always comes to playoffs where they're called the chokers, they fail and they never really get back up.
やっぱミスフォーチュンはレーンが本当強いよな。水星じゃなくてロングソード3ポーション。
G2 will see what they can get done for now. It looks like Jankos is going to finish off towards his red buff. Malrang did 3 bot camps there and was looking for something in the bot side. River does put him behind for now, but Larson has a little bit of mid push. Doesn't have the cleanse though, so if the charm lands, really aggressive dash there, then he could be in trouble.
Yeah, Larson playing around with the press the attack there. Of course, it's press the attack into electrocute in the mid lane. Lucian can win out those extended trades, especially if he dodges away from the charm.
ランブルトップ久しぶり見るね。ランブルトップといえばボールズのランブルと、あとはマリンか。ちょっと前にジャングルでな流行ったけどな。いいフラッシュ、キルも渡す。これなんだよね。序盤ギャンクするのよ。まあ、今回はキャップスだけど全部。ヤンコスのね、ギャンクのルートとかが完璧なのよな。しかもキル渡して J4 のルーンはやっぱりファーストストライクタンクですね。俺もソロ級でやってみたいな。
see as a Jarvan player is when you have that setup in the lane. You look towards bot lane, you have the Rakan setup. When you look at mid lane, yes, you do have to invest your flash, but now that you've already gotten that small advantage in the mid lane, especially with the wave state in the awkward position that it is in, Caps is going to be great, especially once he gets level 6. There's even more gank pressure that's going to continue to build up. So Larson has to be wary of further ganks in the future.
You talk about gank pressure, of course, because Caps can gap close onto Larson with the tier 2 boots, but also he can play defensive. If Malrang runs towards him and Caps has no flash, of course, the boots help out so much in running.
あれが初手ブーツか。
Can play offensive, can play defensive. Top lane's been a bit quiet for now. No top laner having TP. It's very kind of
ルシアンの Q も避けやすいしな。強そう。 初手ブーツ。初心者の頃はトロールだと思ってたわ。ミッドで初手ブーツは珍しいけどな。ADC は多いけど。ジャングルの 1v1 はやっぱりシンジャーの方が強いな。まあ俺の弟は初心者の頃ブーツ2つ買ってたけどあ、本当にこれやる人いるんだとびっくりした、ね。今でもブーツ2つ買えるのかな。今は無理か。優しくなったね。ランブルウルトを使ってウェーブクリア。トランドルじゃない、トリンドメアフリーズか。いや、プッシュスルー。ヘラルドではないけど、トップにサポートがお互いに寄ってますね。
I wonder if these two teams will stay up here for a while. You can see Flackhead working his way down mid lane, whereas Comp has gone bot. So if a fight did erupt, G2 would have a man advantage, although Flackhead not yet with the team. Yanko stepping forward.
アグレッシブだな G2。ミスフォーチュンも寄ってるからね。足が速いからな、ミスフォーチュンは。寄りが速いってのもいいね。W で足が速いから。
Deeper and deeper in their jungle. They see Larsen's moving, they see Malrang, they see Trimmy, they say, okay, they 4-man match this play, good job, we've shut us down, now we'll go towards mid and bot side, so...
It's tense, you know, you can see both teams really respecting, playing off of what the other is doing, but also reading the map very well. Both teams, I feel like the top two here in Europe, really stacking up, delivering some high-quality league, but Trimmy now on the map. Where is Malrang? Very shortly behind.
アーリのウルトを使わせる作戦だ。ルシアンのウルトがもうアーリのウルトの位置に打ってたね。
Thanks to the mobility that Ari does have, he's able to escape. Now this does give a small window for G2 to look for something elsewhere on the map, but with Yanko's back in base, Rogue is going to take control of the ball.
アーリの HP 削ったからドラゴンにつなげるか。いや、ドラゴンはつなげない。レオナはフラッシュ切ったからね。レオナはフラッシュとイグナイトないよ。連戦で G2 が攻めるか。
He can just kind of keep rotating between these two skills in order to be extra safe. And this is what we were talking about. You're very reliant on Trimby to be that engage tool, be that utility, because without it, it's very difficult to lock down this G2 lineup. Now, we come back to the draft. That Poppy ban, very big, really big into a lot of what G2's comp wants to do. So they have the slight gold lead, but right now it is.
だけど、ボトムのデュオがミッドに寄ってくるので、ローグはヘラルドを止めます。
They picked blue side and they 2-3 Victor Nar 2 games in a row and they lost both of them. The confidence of the lock-ins
逆に G2 が触る。でも今度はアフェリオスとレオナが寄れるよ。一回ミスフォーチュンが寄ろうとしたからね。あ、いいの位置が悪い。敵がトップにいるのに1対1で突っ込んでしまった。これはフィニッシュできるか。 G2 の寄りが速いっちゃ速いか。11交換。あれキャップスに渡す。ミスフォーチュンウルトでウェーブクリア。これも強いな。一人でお留守番できるのいいね。ミスフォーチュン優秀だな。ends up being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, because Caps didn't actually have ultimate up when he roamed towards top. He didn't have much to work with, but I don't think Rogue knew the full cooldown of the Ahri ultimate, so that's why they choose to back away. The initial play looks good, but it's Broken Blade forcing it. Interestingly, Malrang's the one who's coming top first. Yankos on Herald and Broken Blade. I don't know if this all in is to pull the enemy jungle here and make it so it's a 2v2, or if he knows his mid laner has push, but he overforces it, misses the E.
ミッドの主導権あるし
But of course, Caps collapses.
All summoner spells end up getting used
突っ込ん
on
で
the
った
top
ね
side, but look at this overheat damage that comes out from Odo on there. Yanko's kind of running out of gas there. If it weren't for Caps, Odo likely would have been able to secure that kill, but it will be a kill over in G2's favor. They, off the back of that, secured the Herald.
ヘラルド取ったのは G2 ですか。
They have pretty solid control.
Odo just trying to crash these top waves. Still has a little bit of top push. Broken Blade, no summoners, makes the all-in a little bit harder. And the gold is still dead even. That Herald will sway it a little bit. Still no dragons taken. Malrang back up
No
towards the top
ulti
side.
for Broken Blade right
Look away
now.
Yankos as well, though he's on his way up here.
取り留めはウルトがあと10秒。
Guard about to come off cooldown. They know that Yankos is here. Malrang will
J4 が狙われる。でも J4 タンクだからね、すぐにはやられないよ。
Because of that, Broken Blade just able to farm under the tower.
I have to say, very smart by Yankos there, because a lot of junglers moving towards Krugs, you would just naturally EQ the Krugs and start damaging it, trying to kill the camp. Keeps his cooldowns just in case maybe enemy junglers here looking for a top dive. He was able to EQ away, doesn't have to use the flash. Targamas and Trimby have been hovering around this mid top side so much.
おわチャムうんま。
Gorgeous charm from Caps. Targamas here as well, but with Trimby in the area, Larson is able to walk to the safety of his tower.
You know, we talked about it yesterday. Caps definitely feeling it so far in playoffs.
マーランが J4 で始めたのがきっかけでファーストストライクなの。
And, you know, we were looking back at a
征服者フルで貯める頃にはもう死ぬって考えなんかな。
Pentakill versus T1 when they were playing in MSI back in 2019. Like the man in front of a crowd when he gets given that stage, that audience, that platform to perform, he often does.
Yeah, he really does. Both he and Yankos performing incredibly well early on in this game with the Rift Herald going in the mid lane. Caps picks up some of that gold. Odoamne is going to spot Yankos, who does have the Cataclysm, puts down the smite as well. Chimpy's on his way. Solar Flare dodged away by Yankos, but there's an
お
blade.
レオンがついてきた。
Yankos stunned.
ランブルー。しかもランブルのキルかよ。
Do you know how Rogue knew Yankos was there? He put the Herald down and the gold flew into Rogue's jungle and they were saying, hang on a second, someone's in our jungle.
ああ、ヘラルドをミッドで置いたじゃん。でゴールドを得られるじゃん。でもそのゴールドがジャングルの方に行ったからこれ気づいたのかもね。多分。おお、で反応したこれ。ラカンのエンゲージ反応したね。ヘラルドのチャリーンっていうお金のその行く先がジャングルのトップ側に行ったから多分それで気づいたのかな。あれって分かるもんなんだ。そう、タンク J4 とかはまあ J4 はウルトから入ってって EQ で離脱って感じだよね。フラッシュウルト EQ みたいな。EQ ウルトじゃなくてな。ウルトから入っていくな。
Rakan, Ari, Tryndamere, Jarvan, very mobile champions, a lot of dashes, and your only CC is Comp when he has the gravity guns, and then also Trimby. So being able to lock all these champions down is going to be very difficult, especially when it comes to these team fights. And right now, Rogue don't actually have control of these early objectives. They're not afraid to give over a lot of early drakes, but I am getting a little more concerned.
走ってウルトから当てるためにターボケミタンク。EQ 使うつもりないね。
They average 1.4 or 1.7 thousand gold ahead at the 14 minute mark. And yes, sometimes it's not about towers, it's not about taking those early
やっぱローグ
objectives,
は
it's about getting good kills and
序盤強いチームだな。結構前から言われてるけど。
G2 are keeping them at arm's length.
序盤からぶっ壊すチームっぽいですね。ランブル初手ゾニア。ダイブされないようにかな。でもルシアン1回やられたけどファームすごいね。まだもう超尾の方がすげえな。超尾のせいでもう感覚おかしくなってきた。あ、まあ噴火10超えてるけど、まあ超尾だったら170ぐらい食ってんなみたいな。
The blue buff will be handed over to Larson. Obviously very valuable on the Lucian, especially in the laning phase, but it means that there's no real
ボトムを折ったのは G2。
doesn't have information as to exactly where Malrang is, so he's a little afraid of getting tower dive, but with the wave thinned out, he's in a good
トリンドメは勝てないんじゃね？勝てるのか？
Afraid right now as he forces Odoamne away, but Odo with the scrap shield with the overheat is able to chunk out Broken Blade. Yankos steals away another camp out of Malrang's jungle.
Rogue a little bit down on tempo here. They need to take this top tier one. G2 have already answered with the first tower, and Flacket's basically in base at this point, so they're going to be first out onto the map, and Odoamne still needs to get this tower down. By the time he does, G2 will be on the map. We'll see what play they look for. Caps is looking to try to defend it. I don't know if he'll be there in time. He will. So, first tower to G2. Rogue haven't found an answer yet.
Yeah, I don't think they were going to be able to get that tower either, but let's see if Malrang's come up with something clever here. He's going to make his way into the lane. Yankos is hovering around, clearing out some of the vision.
お、待ち伏せしてる。レオナも来てる。
They know that G2's bot lane is going to swap top, so instead of
ミスフォーチュンとトリンドメアがスワップするからこれ狙ってんのか。ミスフォーチュン来るだろうってことで。うわー、すごいね。足早いぞでも。えげつねえ狙い方。レーンスワップすることをもう読んでたね。すごいね。いやー、ヨーロッパやっぱ面白いな。ヨーロッパも強いですからね、ほんと。ねえはちょっと。NA のなんか今年の試合が話題になってたな。どこ対どこかは忘れたけど、ミッドゲームから14分間トップレーンのファームを食いに誰も行かないっていう。NA らもやってたね。誰もトップのウェーブを触りに行かない NA らもあったみたいよ。でランブルが入ってくる。J4 ミスフォーチュンだけど、ミスフォーチュンの火力があんま通ってない。死んじゃうのウルトのおかげか。ミスフォーチュンのウルト全部入ってたんだけどな。でもここでキャップスが拾う。裏からラーセン、裏からラーセンだけどお互いにミッドレーナーがキル取り合う。チャームランブルフラッシュイン。キャップスの R 強え。いや、あれ、死んじゃうのウルトで多分ミスフォーチュンのウルトカットしてたよね。あれ、ミスフォーチュンのウルト全部入ってたのに死ななかったからな。トリンドメア
He's something else, man.
He's tearing up the rift yesterday and today, building towards the Rabadons once again. We saw this as well when just rushing a second item at Rabadons when you're just so far ahead and it was a bit confusing.
何があったんだリプレイ。
Why G2 was engaging at this point because Broken Blade's pushing bot. It's a 5v4 from the get-go. They engage, Targamas falls, Trimby gets out on 1 HP, but it's Caps who cleans up the fight.
It certainly is. I'm amazed with Trimby's W and Malrang's ultimate, they were able to soak up that damage, but Caps gets that first pick, then has 3
ルシアンの寄りが遅れたけど、遅れてきてしっかり軽く出してるね。ヘラルドは結局どっちが取ったんだ。どっちも取ってねえのか。お、チャーム。アリ4キル。やば。キャップスのアリ4キル。2つ目のドラゴンクラウド。避ける避ける。レオナも HP 入る前から4割しか残ってない。これはギブですね。フロントがいないからね、ローグは。おっと、孤立してないか。フラッシュ使わせる。反対側のヘラルド。でもミスフォーチュンは1人でボトムだからこれは捨てるんじゃないかな。
contesting this from G2 side would be a little over aggressive. They're just going to disengage, they're going to push out their waves and then look to reset, get a little bit more tempo over the map, but they have a 2k gold lead for the time being. And Caps just continuing to dominate on this.
キャップスのアリやばいね。昨日もやばかったよ、ファナティックスの時。うめえわ。
is making it very difficult for Rogue to approach these fights.
Yeah, you say that G2 have a small
やっぱアーリア使う人によるのかな。誰でも使える感じじゃないよね。
also extremely low HP, so I think over the next course of 2 to 3 minutes, Rogue can get that gold back to an even state. They have the resources to do it. Bot wave will bounce through all the way to the tier 1. Odoamne pushing that out now, but of course G2 will try to stop them in their tracks. Rabadon's collected there, 4 caps, 19 minutes in, 2 items strong. We'll see if they can defend the siege of Rogue.
You can see how hesitant Odoame is to overstep. He has no information as to where people are on the map just yet. He's waiting for people to appear before he overextends.
ランブル偉いな。マップに誰も映らないからボトムずーっと入っていかないね。今見えたから今ボトムプッシュしてるけど。
Rogue should know that G2's Baron is not the fastest, right? MFRE not the
お、チャーム。
Wow.
Wow. キャッチ能力やば。おおし。デスキャップ20分で出たね。座ってんね。
Yeah, G2 will get this top tower, but Rogue can play on 2 lanes. I think Malrang can herald mid here, and they can just force this mid tier 1. Caps no ultimate. We'll see if they choose to do so. They're waiting for the waves. Odoamne rotated up. Malrang
キルは一緒だけどタワー差がすげえな。
It looks like all the pings coming down was the play, but they've called it off.
トータルゴールドローグ負けてます。 G2 が3000弱有利か。4タワー対1タワー。
It's been a story of 2 players, Jankos and Caps, 100% kill participation. These guys have been with this team for an age. Caps joined the
アフェリオスフラッシュないとさ J4 のウルト食らって死ぬからね。ローグ戦えないね。ドラゴンにフラッシュ間に合わないんじゃねえかな。3ドラゴン失うんじゃね。ワンチャンピックを狙う。
Looking for it, but you can't solo play because you don't have it off cooldown anywhere.
Chooses not to overextend, but yeah, veterans in the league, obviously fan favorites as well. Everyone absolutely loves to watch Caps and Jankos play in their peak form, and right now that's what we're seeing. They want another title back under their belt. Last year was a difficult year for them. They struggled, falling short of the finals twice, and now they have their opportunity to reclaim their title as both teams.
キャッチ狙ってるローグだけど引っかかれませんね。
Caps and Jankos definitely have been in the driver's seat throughout this whole lower brackets run. Steals away the crab there. Jankos in front of Malrang, and this bot tier 1 is what Rogue keep trying to play for on G2, just shadowing, pushing out the waves.
こっからトリンドミアが止まらなくなるかな。
If Rogue want to get this mid tower, they're going to have to base together now and set up tempo towards mid soon. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to get it without the Herald. I think G2 have enough vision and enough push in these lanes to hold it for now, unless some kind of team fight kicks off and Rogue get the advantage. Baron will be what G2 want to control until that dragon spawns in a minute, like you said, Vidius.
G2 3000 gold ahead now, 23 minutes into the game, and Rogue with a
3ドラゴンはローグ渡せないけどね。アフェリオスフラッシュないからどうするんだろう。ギリ帰ってくるかこれ。すぐドラゴン始められたら間に合わない気がするけど。てかランブルイグナイトか見てなかったよ。ニンバスクロークも言ってるんだろうね。サモナースペル使ったら早い。Okay. G2 はバックタイミングが同じだからみんなウェーブを一緒に押し込んで視界を取ろうとしてる。ヘラルドを使って時間を稼ぐ。入っていくのか。いや一気に突っ込んでく。ストップアッチ使わせた。でもランブル勝てーぞランブル。ミスフォーチュンのウルトがどうだ。届かない。ミスフォーチュンのウルトがギリ届いてないんじゃないかあれ。いやーミッド相手がプッシュしてたところをランブルストップアッチとフラッシュあるのにそこを狙っていく。
G2 saw that as an opportunity to leverage their mobility and find a pick. Props to Odo, he played that as well as he could have, dodging absolutely everything and forcing Broken Blade on the back foot, but the follow-up from G2 was just so much stronger.
J4 のエンゲージ能力強え。
G2 have so many options to get into the fight and Rogue just can't lock them down.
相手
3人ミッドじゃん。よしここ入ってこうって。 3対2だからね、一時的に。
And they just can't finish any other targets off. This could have been a 4-4, but Trimby felt like he needed to try and make a play to keep his team alive. He ends up losing his life for it. Ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of G2, and that will be their third Drake of the game.
And you talked about ease of execution in draft Fedius, and you were favoring G2. We can see it there in the team fights. Although Odoamne got so much damage onto Broken Blade, and yes, he has the ultimate, but he has to be careful. G2 have so many spells that they can just throw.
迷いがないね、エンゲージに。
Rogue only really have the
面白いわ。
maybe the culling in a single target damage form, and then the Rumble ultimate. The Aphelios solution need to get in range, whereas G2 have so much of it with the MF Rakan.
It's one of those things where G2 right now, they've just been showcasing what they beat Fnatic with. Very strong team fighting, a lot of independent agency on players like Caps. Broken Blade, he was more on tank duty yesterday, but now he's playing that Tryndamere, he's being a massive split pushing threat. And really, they can only send Larson to answer him. Odoamne can kind of hold him in the 1v1, but without that TP, it becomes hard to play in the 4v4. So
エモートで遊んでねえか。
4K gold down here in game 1. Obviously a long series to go, but G2 continuing their winning ways for the time being.
Definitely is. We have to feel like this Ari Jarvan is G2's bread and butter. Caps and Jankos have been holding hands the entire game long, ever since that mid gang to set up Caps to unlock the rest of the map. Larson and Malrang hanging around, emoting in that bush for a bit, maybe waiting for someone to walk in for look for a pick, because right now it looks so hard to contest this Baron vision. Just checking to see if G2 were starting it over the wall there because they have no vision in the pit.
I wanted to come quickly back to your point about Jankos and Caps, mainly because you look at the scorelines, 5-0-2, 2-2-5. That is 7 of the 7 kills that G2 have had. That duo has been involved in every single one of them. And at the beginning of the year, the expectations were that, okay, if G2 is going to find ways to carry, it's going to be off the back of this mid-jungle duo. And I really feel like we're seeing this mid-jungle duo continue to shine.
We're seeing Caps roaming around the map so much in the early game, something we is reminiscent of his MSI days. You know, 2019, he was everywhere. The pipe, a little bit of a meme.
いや、これもうチャーム当たったらキルだからな。怖いよな。3分後4ドラゴン。G2 ミッドを押し込んで視界を取りに行きます。ダメージ。うわ、アーリの EQW で HP7 割。いや、ただランブルのウルトも綺麗だったね。アーリのフラッシュ使わせる。あれ一人でどんだけゾーニングというか相手ビビらせてるんだ。メジャー10スタック。
He has 10 Magi stacks too, so one more team fight could go towards 25.
He's 5-0-2 and he fought a Magi's in the final. I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, he also went Rabbit on second item. Like, this guy is there to get as much damage down as possible in as short a period of time as possible, and it's working for G2 right now.
Yeah. And obviously that puts an even bigger spotlight on players like Larson. When we think about trying to contest the top at the end of the regular season, many people said he was robbed of being like top 2, even number 1 at the end of his performance.
1分後だね、ドラゴン。
Often one of the criticisms for Larson throughout his entire career is
このドラゴン、ローグが取らないと負けるだろうし、
stakes are at their highest. Can he deliver?
取っても死んだらバロン取られる
That's
し。
what they thrive. The pressure is kind of what enables them, but Larson is a player that's still trying to prove himself. And obviously, on a champion like Lucian, he had a lot of agency in the early game, and he was shut down a little bit by this Ari and the Jarvan. But he still has carry potential. He on this Lucian working towards that third item, he still has.
J4 フルタンクだから視界も取りやすいだろうしな。やりやすいな。
TB coming in from Caps, just wants to keep tempo in the bot lane, keep that bot push. This bot tower has been something Rogue have been trying to get for so long. And if they can get bot push and mid push 30 seconds.
ミッドプッシュとボトムプッシュの主導権を握っている G2、おっとアーリがもう隠れている。視界を取り返すためにローグはミッドで集まんなきゃいけないけど、ランブル危ないぞこれ。ボトム守んなきゃいけないからね。いやもうグループするね、視界が全くないから。視界を取り返すにはミッドこうやって押し込んで、このミッドの視界を食いに来るやつを見てから入っていく。ただ誰もミッド守ってないからローグは気をつけなきゃいけないよ。 アーリがどこにいるか見えてないんじゃないか。おっと、いい視界だ。 G2 視界取っている。アフィリオスグラビタム握ってるからアーリ入っていけないね。クラッシュないし、入ってったらグラビタムで束縛されるからなかなか入っていけない。アフィリオスのこの武器が厄介だ。うわー、えげつねえ角度からのチャームだ。飛んでいく。何がどうなってんだ。ミスフォーチュンウルトぶっ込む。あれん J4 一気のカップ2人。うわ J4 また EQ。 オーマイガード。ファッキンヤンコス。あそこで2人ノックアップからのフラッグ落ちてるやつをまた Q やって、アンビションかな。アンビションのスキン使ってる。4ドラゴン。いやー、キャップスがね、ずっとアーレが見えてなかったんだよね、どこにいるか。ウルトを使ったら危ないけど、ウルト使わないで壁の奥からぶっ込んでいき、 J4 が何もう早くてよくわかんねえや。ウルトでぶっ込んでミスフォーチュンがウルトでぶち込む。ウルトはミスフォーチュンウルト打って死ぬけども軽く出したからね。でその後アーリはこのウルトだな。リセットが強えな。アーリのミニリワークのウルトが効いてるね。キルアシトラとウルトが1個増えるから、それで戻ってきた。アーリ804、25メジャー、クラッシュ曲がるし、ゾニアも出た。マウンテンドラゴンソウルもある。プレーオフ G2 今9連勝中で、これ勝ったら10連勝か。やばいな。ミスフォーチュンウルト孤立した。ばらけてる。バロンに向かう。あれトップではなんかレオナが孤立してるぞ。いや、レオナどこにいたんだ。これね、昨日のファナティック戦見たらわかるけど、 J4 とアーリー渡しちゃダメだと思うんだよね。昨日も無双してたからな、2人で。キャップスなんか調子悪かったように見えたけどね。調子上がってきたのかな。
All the adaptations be for game 2. When we think about comeback opportunities for Rogue, they really do need a bit of a miracle. You know, we talked so much about the amount of mobility, the lack of crowd control. It feels like the G2 kind of have all the options, whereas Rogue need the perfect formula in order to find the perfect fight, and G2 is just not giving it to them.
I mean, Flacker doesn't have flash for a little while, but G2 setting up the siege. They won't have vision, Rogue, to find and engage. Malrang's flash was used to get on top of Flacker, and like we talked about, there's not much lockdown to get onto this MF. You know, Jarvan's very easy point and click. Aphelios can't move if he has no flash. But Flacker
ボトムゆっくりプッシュして、今ミッドとプッシュのタイミング合わせてるかな。
where G2 are. Flackett's stacking this bot wave to make sure it's as big as possible. G2's Jankos and Targamas there to cover. Well, Caps from Broken Blade push down mid, playing on two lanes here, G2.
死んじゃう。ちょっとばらけてるから入っていこうとするけど、エンゲージが薄いね。で死んじゃうウルト使ったから、これミスフォーチュンのウルトぶっ込むよ。死んじゃうがウルトないとこうなるな。おお、今キャップス敵のゲールフォースかなんか読んだね。当たってなかったけど。キャップスのアーリーエグいよ。ダッシュ先狙ってるって。いやー、なんか動きがいいな G2。 迷いがないな。33分も経ってるように見えねえや。 GG10 連勝。やば。いいね。G2 デトネーション見たいね。
a problem.
Yes.
I think the Jarvan is a problem.
Yeah.
I think this early game playmaking and Caps being on such a playmaking mid and being able to be that individual decision-making assassin is a problem.